Hey, I'm Guillaume from Lightsketch, and today I'm going to show you how to set up ComfyUI on Runpod. So first of all, why use Runpod? Well, if you're like most of us, you don't have the hardware necessary to use the AI model behind ComfyUI on your local computer, so you have to use a cloud solution. Runpod is probably the cheapest one out there, and it's pretty simple to use. On top of that, if you're concerned about the security of your IP, using Runpod directly just reduces the number of third parties that have access to your data and just reduces the chance that you have a leak somewhere. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So the first thing you need to do is to log in. Then you need to make sure you have money on your account. In this case, I have 169, which is plenty for this tutorial. It's actually quite cheap, as you will see in an instant. You go in Explore, and then you can just type Comfy. You'll see you have a few options. The one that I always use, and I will show you how to use this, is SD ComfyUI 1 with the purple box next to it. Deploy. And here, well, you can see that there's a lot of options. These are all different types of GPUs that you can use to run ComfyUI. You can literally pick any of them and it's gonna work. In this case, I like to use the RTX A4000 because it gives you a good kind of ratio of how powerful it is and price. As you might notice, it's actually one of the cheaper ones, and it's definitively powerful enough for what we're gonna do. And then deploy on demand. There you go. Now you just have to wait a bit. Okay, so now we're on the next page. You can click on this little purple button here that shows you what's going on. So yeah, don't worry too much about what's going on here, but main thing you need to know is that it's installing stuff. So once you have that little back window, it means it's getting ready. That just disappeared. So now you can connect. So there's two ports here. ComfyUI is 3000, so here I'm clicking the 3000, and that will open up ComfyUI. So there you go. So that's just for kind of the vanilla workflow. Now I can click Q prompt and it should work. Make a beautiful image of a purple vase, if I remember correctly. There you go. Alright, so let's try to do something a bit more complicated than that. So for those of you that watch my other video on making renders, this is the workflow I was using there. So let's try to get that working. So I just drag and drop the workflow and you can see it's not happy. It's missing basically the two set of custom nodes I mentioned in that video. You don't even need to really know what custom nodes are missing because ComfyUI makes it quite easy for you with the manager to figure that out. So here, if you go and install missing custom nodes, you can see those are the two I'm missing. But before I do that, I'm just gonna click Update All here to make sure everything's up to date. Okay, so we're done updating everything. Now it's asking us to restart. So yeah, there's two ways to restart ComfyUI on Runpod. I'll show you the first way, which is by far the easiest. So if I just close this window here, and then I go back here, and here you see there's a few things you can do with your pod. You need to reset it. That's going to restart everything. If you just click restart, it's not going to work. So click reset pod, and then you see this little black window's back. Right, so that's done. We can reconnect port 3000. That's where ComfyUI is. Okay, so the nodes are still not there, but that's to be expected. We did not install them. Let's check the manager. Yeah, you can see now you have this restart button here, which actually doesn't really work. I don't know why it's there, but the fact that it's there means that everything's updated. So let's install those nodes. I personally find it better to do one at a time, just because quite often there's some issues if you do everything at the same time. So really easy, like I just clicked install here next to IP Adapter Plus, which means it's installing this node. All right, so that is done. See again, it's asking us to restart. So let's do that quickly. And so I'm closing this page, going back here, and then reset button. Okay. Now port 3000. Right. So see, 2 out of the 4 missing nodes are there now. You can see that there's no more red here, but we still have those 2 missing nodes. So again, same thing. Install missing custom nodes. Install. Okay, that is done. So sometimes I get that and it still works when I restart. So I'm just gonna try restarting. If we still get that error, we can try to troubleshoot it. So here, reset bud. Let's see if it worked. No, it didn't. So let's go in the manager and then install missing custom nodes still, and let's see what's there. Okay, so it installed it before because it's not asking me to install it again, but something's wrong. So this is actually a good thing that this happens during this video because, well, hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but it does tend to happen to me kind of regularly. So this is how I deal with this. I first of all try fix, and then it's gonna, I think that what it does in the background is that it just uninstalls it and reinstall it, to be honest. So it takes a moment. Okay, it still says that it's getting this unknown error, which is a bit worrying, but hopefully what I'm about to show you is going to fix that problem. Alright, so I'm going to close it. I'm going to close this tab. I'm going to show you the second way of restarting ComfyUI, which is a bit more involved, but for some reason tends to work better when you're installing stuff. So the first way I showed you was to use the reset button here. The other way of doing it is using Jupyter Lab. So you see here, you got the Jupyter Lab at the 8888 port. So I'm just going to start that. And so we're going to have to use the terminal to restart ComfyUI, which is a bit more involved, but it's actually not that complicated. You just have to redo exactly the steps I'm doing here, and it should be fine. So wait, let me go back. So the first thing I did here is that I clicked on this little folder here, and that's just to make sure I'm in the root folder. This is actually very important, otherwise it's not going to work. So click this little folder, and then you can open a new terminal window. And then you're going to write enter. I'm going to write those comments in the description for the video so that you can just copy and paste them. And you're going to look for the Python process here. So it's this one at 27. So you just need to remember that number, 27. We're going to open a new terminal, still in the root folder, and type kill 27. So what this did is that it just simply closed ComfyUI. It's a very complicated way of doing it, but effective. And then you're just gonna copy and paste this in the terminal. Again, I'll just post it in the description. You don't need to worry too much about what it does, but effectively it's gonna restart ComfyUI. So copy and paste. So I've got all that code, enter, and let's let it run. Okay, and let's check if that worked. So yeah, I just closed ComfyUI, restarted it from the terminal using Jupyter Lab. So if you just follow these steps, you should be able to do it as well at home. And then here I'm going to connect back to ComfyUI. Okay, and hopefully that solves the issue. And it did. So now there's no more red, and I can click Q prompt. Right, now there's another error. And that's because although all the nodes are working now, the actual models they're using have not been downloaded. So I'll show you how to do that very quickly. It's actually quite simple. And also added in these two kind of load image nodes, they don't have any input. So I'll just put the same example I had in my other video. There you go. Right, so now we need to get all the models. So there's two control net models that are missing, and then that error didn't come up yet, but I know that it will if I run this again after downloading the control net model. So these are all the kind of model that this specific workflow requires. So I just need to download them using the manager. That is actually very straightforward, more so than installing custom node, thankfully. So I'm just gonna search for each of them. There's 4 in total. That's the first one, install. Okay, that's done. So see, you don't need to restart it now, you just need to refresh, but I'll download all the models before I refresh it. Yeah, by the way, if you're wondering what those models do or what this workflow does, I made another video that kind of goes through it in a lot more detail. So yeah, if you want to kind of go through this process I'm walking you through now, you can just look at that video. In the description for that video, there's this link to this workflow, which I'm using here, as well as the name of all the models and the nodes that you need. Okay, so now we've got 2 out of 4. Let's do this third one. Right, and the last one. All right, so let's refresh, and hopefully we don't get any error this time when we queue the prompt. Okay, so you can see where what's happening on the ComfyUI by looking at the box with the little green kind of outline. So here it's kind of generating the depth map. But what's gonna happen this first time you queue the prompt after downloading all the model is that it's gonna load each one of them, which will take a bit of time. So here's downloading as the Excel checkpoint, and now it's doing the IP adapter. So let's give it a moment, and hopefully we get the results at the end without getting any errors. Okay, so that worked. So I don't know if you remember from my other video, but this is exactly the same output I had back then. So there you go. So that's kind of an overview of how to start ComfyUI using Runpod, as well as installing custom nodes, and as well as downloading those models to make those custom node work. Everything's available from the manager. I guess the only tricky bit is if you have to restart using Jupyter Lab. Hopefully you don't have to, but if you have to, you know how to do it now. And I guess one last thing, which is actually extremely important, is that when you're done, you need to close your pod. So otherwise you'll just be paying for it while not using it. It's going to use all your credit. So to stop it, you just click here, stop pod, and if you go here in the pod on your manager, you see that pod is still there. You can restart it by just clicking here, and then make sure you've got like at least one. Well, at least you need just one. So you need one of the GPU you've selected at the beginning. But to keep this pod here, you're still paying. I think it's about $15 per month, which the advantage of keeping it there is that if you restart your pod, so instead of going through the Explorer and searching for ComfyUI, like I showed you at the start of the video, you can just go in pod. Yeah, well, there the Explorer just opened, but instead of going here, you can just go in pod. Your pod is already there, and restart it. and you don't need to install anything because, well, you've already did. So that's nice, but there's a fee for that. If you don't think you're going to use it that much, then you can just delete this, and then you won't be charged anything. So in this case, I'll just terminate it, and there you go, it's gone. So yeah, very important to do at the end every time, don't forget. And yeah, so that's it for this video. If you have any question or you want to talk to us about any of your projects, whether you need custom workflows, AI models, or some kind of software automation to help you with your design process, please get in touch with us. We'd love to hear about what you're working on. Thank you.